Alors aujourd'hui, j'aimerais exprimer mes sincères condoléances à la famille de Brian Mulroney, bien entendu à Mila, à Caroline, à Ben, à Marc, à Nicolas et tous les êtres chers qui ont à cœur et qui ont eu la chance de travailler ou de côtoyer Brian Mulroney. Brian Mulroney était un grand premier ministre qui non seulement avait un amour profond pour le Canada, un amour profond aussi pour le Québec, mais aussi qui avait une sensibilité et je vous dirais même une passion pour l'importance du rôle du Canada au niveau international. Et à ce titre-là, il a laissé un grand legs, certainement au niveau de l'accord de libre-échange avec les États-Unis, une relation d'amitié profonde avec les États-Unis, mais aussi dans son combat contre l'apartheid en Afrique du Sud. Mais d'un point de vue plus personnel, Brian était un ami. Brian, sa force, c'était qu'il était capable de forger des relations personnelles tellement fortes qu'on lui faisait confiance facilement. Il était toujours là pour nous appeler lorsque les moments étaient les plus difficiles. Lorsque tout le monde avait abandonné le bateau et nous parlait moins, Brian était là et nous offrait son écoute. Ça a été mon cas. Et c'est pour ça qu'il m'a appris une leçon de vie vraiment importante. Qu'au final, en politique et dans la vie, le plus important, ce sont les gens. Merci, Brian.
I hate to ask you to repeat in English.
Okay,
you.
I'll do that.
Appreciate it.
I would like first to offer my sincere condolences to Brian and his family. Let's go back, I'm sorry. I would like to offer my sincere condolences to Brian's family, his wife, Mila, his daughter, Caroline, and also his sons, Ben, Mark, and Nicholas, and all his loved ones. Brian was a great Prime Minister. He had a deep love for his country, and he had a great passion about Canada's role in the world. And to that extent, his legacy is great. He forged a really strong friendship, lasting friendship with the U.S., which led to our first important free trade agreement, which is the Canada-U.S. Free Trade Agreement, and also his courage in fighting against apartheid in South Africa is something that even now the world knows that Canada can be there in times of injustices. And I was recently with my colleague from South Africa, and she was telling me how much the relationship between South Africa and Canada was strong because of those years where Brian Mulroney was there supporting the Mandelas and the Tutus. On a personal note, Brian was a friend, and his strength was like no others. He was really good at forging personal relationships. And you know who are your friends when times are tough. And he was there. He was actually calling you when times are tough. And to that extent, he taught me one of the biggest lessons in politics and, in life, which is what is the most important thing? People. Thank you.
Can I just ask you, Minister, what the mood was like in the House this morning?
I must say the mood is very solemn. There's an outpouring amount of affection, of just memories. It's incredible. I was talking to MPs, and they all have a moment when basically Brian was sharing with them stories or just good words. And that was for both sides of the aisle. I was just talking to people from the NDP, the Bloc Québécois, the Conservatives, and of course the Liberals. And I had the chance to work with his daughter a lot, Caroline Mulroney, on building a Franco-Ontarian university. It was not an easy project. We didn't always agree, but in the end, we did something that has a lasting legacy, which was to build the first Francophone university by and for Franco-Ontarians. And I just want to say how much I value Caroline's work. Not only that I could see the spirit of her dad of always trying to forge strong relationship with people, and that's what we did over the years.
Do you ever have any words of advice or encouragement for you as foreign minister?
Yes, of course. One of the first things I did when I was appointed was to call former foreign ministers or former prime ministers. And also every time I would go to Washington, I would call him beforehand. He was, he had a really good relationship with many former presidents. And he had also, he was very helpful in the renegotiation of CUSMA and also regarding the steel and aluminum tariffs. So he would be able to help me talk to different politicians in the U.S. on the Republican side and also on the Democrat side. So he's been indeed very helpful.
If you feel comfortable answering, can I ask where you were when you got the news and what was sort of going through your mind in that moment?
Oh, I got the news yesterday. I was working. I was working on the Mexico-Canada relationship as we are strengthening our migration process. And I was texting my colleague, Alicia Barcela, who's the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mexico. And she used to be the former Chief of Staff to Kofi Annan, who was the Secretary General of the UN. And so I wrote her, Brian just died. And we continue and texted each other because she knew him well as well. And so we were just sharing memories about him. So it just shows how much he had friends and allies around the world.
Lots of young people don't necessarily remember the Mulroney days. Mm-hmm. What do you want people to know about his life and legacy?
Politics is not only about partisanship. You don't need to hate the other person in front of you. You can actually just talk to that person and agree to disagree. And I think this is something that we should all bear in mind, because politics is, particularly these years, becoming more toxic and polarized. At the end of the day, we all have our different values and ideas, but we're all there for building a greater country. And I profoundly believe that we live in the best country in the world. Thank you.
What are you doing this weekend to recognize his life?
I'll be for sure making sure that there will be national funerals. I'm convinced. I don't have the details yet, but I'll make sure that I'm in the country and I attend.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's a very sad day for Canadians. I mean, we're a nation in mourning today. Brian Mulroney contributed immensely to our country. He contributed to Parliament, and I think it's a great opportunity to reflect on his legacy.
Did you ever meet him? Have any?
I never had the opportunity to meet Mr. Mulroney. However, he did correspond with me once after I talked about his incredible environmental work that he did in the House of Commons, and I was extremely appreciative of that. It just really spoke to the character of who he was.
And a lot of people don't think of, they think of NAFTA, they think of, the GST, other issues like that when it comes to Mulroney, but his environmental
record is outstanding. What he did in terms of bringing the world together when it came to acid rain, how he helped to protect the ozone layer. I mean, these were huge accomplishments by Canada under the leadership leadership of Brian Mulroney. I think that that's one of the legacies that will live on in his memory.
Are you willing to speak to us at all about when you got the news and where you were and how that felt?
I had actually just left the house when I received it. I was shocked like everybody else.
What are you expecting on the 18th?
Pardon me?
What are you expecting when the House resumes?
I think we'll have more formal tributes when the House resumes in a couple weeks. It'll give us the opportunity to really reflect on his legacy in the meantime and prepare appropriate remarks. And I think you'll really see the House coming together to celebrate Brian Mulroney.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.